Hey, thanks for being here. Welcome back to my channel. If you've been watching my videos and you haven't subscribed, please hit subscribe. I've received so many comments and subscriptions from people like you in the last couple of weeks that it's actually it's really invigorating. So thank you so much. Today I want to talk about Dungeon Master preparation. So preparing for your next game session. And this will relate to basically anybody at any level. So you could be a novice, beginning DM, or you could be an expert DM. It doesn't really matter. You'll probably get a tip or two out of how I prepare for my sessions. So first of all, my name is Joe. I've been DMing pretty much off and on for 45 plus years. I've made a lot of mistakes. Maybe I'll make a video of all the mistakes. In fact, actually the video I just put out yesterday was a huge mistake on the very first day that I got the Holmes box set, and I took my friend Brandon through combat. So if you haven't seen that video, go ahead and watch it. It's called, I don't remember what it's called, but it's in the videos. So I'll put a link to it in the description. But what I want to talk about specifically is there's a misnomer in game land where beginning DMs sometimes think that they have to put in a lot of hours for preparation. And that's not necessarily true. Maybe if you're building out a full-on campaign world, you will put a lot of hours, over time. But immediately, if you're starting a new session with a new group, or you have an ongoing session, 1 to 2 hours maybe before that session starts is fine. And I'll tell you why. So what I like to do is, in order to prepare for the forthcoming session, the next session, you have to remember what you did in the last session. So this is where taking notes is really important. And you can take notes by pen and paper when you have a break, or as you're doing combat or role play. Writing down a new NPC's name is really important, because if you introduce a new NPC and you don't give that person a name, you're gonna forget. So create a name, make a little note or a description. I like to use index cards to keep track of my NPCs. You can do that too if you want to. But getting back to sort of the amount of time. So if you know what happened in the last session, it's easier to prepare for the next session, obviously. So as an example, let's say you stopped the last session right before a huge combat. And the reason you did that was to add a cliffhanger and get the character or get your players excited for the next session, right? That's one way to do it, end in a cliffhanger. So obviously if you're gonna have a big battle in the next session, because of that cliffhanger, you obviously prepare for that battle first, right? Because that's exactly where you're gonna start. It's very unlikely your players go, oh, we're gonna be in a big battle. And then when you get to the big battle, they're like, no, we're gonna bail. We're gonna go look for something else. That typically doesn't happen. So what you wanna do is focus on the things you need to prepare for immediately. Now, it gets a little tricky when you don't come off of a cliffhanger and you're trying to prepare maybe a long trek to another town, or to visit a ruin or a forest or something. That's okay too, because if you know there's going to be an overland adventure, then you can prepare where they're going, right? Or where you think they're going to go, right? But obviously, unless your characters can teleport, there's going to be a small range within the map that they can explore. And the thing is, if you prepare areas of that map, you can interchange them, right? So if you say, I've got a bunch of ogres at a camp and maybe the characters will meet them on their path, but you plan the map where they don't go there, well, they don't know that the ogres are there. Move the ogres to where they're gonna go, right? You can randomize it. It doesn't matter. Just because you prepared a certain encounter in a certain area of your map doesn't mean you can move it to change the story. So be adaptable and create encounters in sort of chunks, almost like just having like a menu of encounters. Now, obviously, if it's part of an adventure and you really need it to be there for some reason, right? You're not going to have a king live in someone else's castle. That would be really silly. But you can move certain encounters around. So that's what I do, right? If I really want them to encounter this one creature, maybe it's an owlbear, or maybe like a two-headed troll. So be flexible as a DM and really kind of ease into it. Like, don't freak out because they didn't run into the ogres and you thought they needed to find like a scroll for their next journey, right? think of it as a little bits of side quest, right? So the ultimate journey of your storyline is the most important thing. And as long as you're making incremental steps to get your characters there, then that's all the better, right? So anyway, just a little bit of a tip, don't stress out, always prepare ahead of time what's coming. Make a list. Actually, bullet points work really well. So if you know that they're gonna need to run into the ogres at some point in the next session or the session after that, then make sure they run into those ogres and find whatever they're supposed to find. Maybe it's a clue to their next destination. So that's it. That's how, it's fairly simple. That's how I do it. And I hope this helps you in your sessions. Again, thank you for being here. If you're not a subscriber, I would love for you to be a subscriber. So just please hit the like button and subscribe, hit the bell icon, just hit all the buttons underneath, the description. All right, thanks. Appreciate you.